Lisa met Manolo at the gate at JFK Airport upon the arrival of his Barrack flight from Caracas. He had come to New York for a 1-month stay, his first visit outside the Amazon. He recounted for Lisa his trip downriver from the village by motorboat to Esmeralda, a desolate town on the banks of the Orinoco, followed by a flight on a twin-engine bush plane to Caracas. Lisa was excited to gauge Manolo's reaction to his new surroundings, but she knew him to be a cool customer who prided himself on his ability to remain calm under pressure. Consequently, she was careful not to patronize him or to become overly demonstrative. Though he was out of his element, his gait and expression while they strolled through the terminal suggested the equilibrium of a seasoned traveler. As they drove into the city, Lisa matter-of-factly pointed out the skyline and its particular buildings and monuments. Manolo expressed only polite interest. "I want to see the little church around the corner," he announced. "Why? It's part of your religion." "I've never been there," she admitted. Manolo proceeded to tell her about its picturesque English garden, visible from the Empire State Building, and its long-standing connection with Broadway show people. "Manolo, you are incredible," Lisa enthused. "And by the way, I love your outfit." Manolo smiled. He was dressed in a brown cowboy-style shirt with white piping, black jeans, and sandals. Shortly after they arrived at her apartment, Thomas called. "How's it going?" he asked. "Fine, but I think Malabawa is a little wiped out from the trip. He's taking a nap in the guest room." "Who's that?" "That's Manolo's real name." "Oh," Thomas said. "Well, should I be jealous?" "I don't know. Should you?" The next morning, Lisa and Manolo took a cab to Central Park, where they explored Belvedere Castle and the Ramble. Standing on a rock in the Ramble, Manolo appeared to be in a reverie. He was, in fact, experiencing a moment of introspection. He had become enamored of the park's natural beauty, which provided a dramatic contrast with the nearby apartment buildings, and he sensed he would return at a later date to renew himself spiritually. Certainly, the park must be the home of spirits from the other world. Away from the stresses of life in the village and the constant threat of warfare with neighboring tribes, Manolo now had the leisure to reflect. Was he, at the core of his being, of the forest or of the village? He didn't know. They went to the Metropolitan Museum, where Manolo pored over the artifacts in the Egyptian collection. He called them the belongings of the ancestors. At the top of the Empire State Building, Manolo looked into Lisa's eyes. They spoke softly in the Yanomamo tongue. "It's so high here, like a mountain," he said. She noticed his hands trembling. "What is it, Manolo?" "I don't know, but it's probably not good." "Why don't you know what's wrong?" "I don't know everything. You can turn people into birds. That's the only thing I can do." From out of nowhere, a large purple and green cloud appeared in the sky, and a storm broke out. "Hold on to me," Manolo shouted. People were running off the observation deck. Then, just as suddenly, the storm passed. Lisa stared wide-eyed at Manolo. "Manolo, did you do that?" "I forgot about these kinds of changes in the weather. I can't help it. It happens deep in my head. It's not something I can do whenever I like. Just the birds."